watching Numbskull News, and today I want to talk about the difference between the Big 12 and the ACC as far as realignment goes. What has happened to them? The Big 12 lost Texas and Oklahoma, and they survived. They were able to rebuild, get a new media deal for good money, and based on that deal, it solidified the conference to go into the future, into 2031. And they were able to add 4 Power 5 schools from the Pac 12. Now, I hear a lot of people in my comments, and they talk about the ACC. Well, when Florida State and Clemson leave, why can't we do exactly what the Big 12 did? Solidify and get a decent enough contract to get us through to 2036 or whenever. Well, one of the differences is exactly what made what happened to the Big 12 different from what happened to the Pac 12. You see, the Pac 12, when they were going through their crap with USC leaving and UCLA, there was another power conference willing to take teams. With the Big 12, none of the other Power 4 conferences wanted to take any of these teams. Now, I understand that coming from the Big 10 or the SEC. They either already had a deal on the books to get a shit ton more money, or they knew a big deal was coming their way. The ACC and the Pac 12, that's a different animal. Stupidly, they passed up on some of these teams. And if you think about it in your heart of hearts, ACC fans, who would you rather have? Stanford, Cal, SMU, or West Virginia, Kansas, TCU? Maybe from a academic standpoint, you made better choices there, but from an athletic standpoint, which that's what these conferences are all about, is athletics, that's a missed opportunity. And that's the first one. That's the first stupid mistake you made, and why this is different. Big 12 lost Texas and Oklahoma. And these other schools, they all looked for other landing spots. There were none. So that forced them to coalesce, solidify as a conference, as an 18 conference. Okay, what do we do now? We need to expand. We need to expand quickly. We do that. And then the TV deal. And then Pac 12 teams. See what I'm saying? It all starts with solidifying as a conference of who you have left. Will the ACC be willing to solidify once Florida State and Clemson leave? There's some evidence to suggest it won't. For instance, the UNC Board of Trustees out there who are starting to freak out saying we got to get the hell out of here. We can't take the money hit that we're going to take once Florida State and Clemson leave. And I guarantee you, there's the same concern in Miami. An unequal revenue share to keep those two in the conference won't work either. Because you think Louisville is going to be willing to take less money just to satisfy those two? No. No. Not when there's an option, a Big 12 option out there. Why take $1 less than the Big 12 offer? That's the question. And there's a lot of these schools in the ACC that are going to look at it that way. Like, why would we stay here for less money when we can go to the Big 12 and make more money? Because you will be making less money when Florida State and Clemson leave. And another thing that makes this different, of course, is the ACC network. There is no Big 12 network. There's a Big 12 now that's part of ESPN Plus, but that's not extra revenue. For the ACC, they depend on the revenue of the ACC network. That has become an important piece of their payout pie. And when that sucker takes a big hit, and it will take a large hit, without FSU, without Clemson, that thing is pretty much screwed. But eventually, ESPN can work with FSU and Clemson and UNC and Miami and everybody else to work out a controlled demolition of the ACC. You eventually get down to the lower teams that are going to be okay with making a little less money as long as they have security in the future. See, in the Big 12, what lower class? See, that's what I'm saying. What do you mean lower class? Because all 8 schools, nobody was really more valuable than anybody else. Nobody really saw themselves as more valuable than anybody else. You can make a case for Kansas being more valuable than a lot of those schools. You might be able to make a case for TCU or West Virginia or Texas Tech. All right, everyone has their positives and negatives of what makes them valuable or what might hurt their value. But when you add everything together, there wasn't that much of a difference. Kansas isn't such a higher level than TCU or Texas Tech or Baylor. All right, but Miami and UNC, and I think to a certain extent Virginia as well, they see themselves as something a little bit of a higher class than Boston College or Syracuse or Wake Forest or even Georgia Tech. So since you have these divided classes within your conference, that makes it more difficult to solidify together. And without that solidification, there is no moving forward as a conference and rebuilding it. There just isn't. Now, I have thought for a long time that maybe the ACC just blows up like the Pac-12 did. However, there's more schools. There's more schools in the ACC. There's more schools towards the bottom where they could eventually get to where they can solidify and do something. You know, when you're talking about Syracuse and Boston College and Wake Forest and Georgia Tech, well, that's 4 schools right there. You just need 4 more to come in. You know, everyone assumes Pitt goes to the Big 12, but I don't know that. What if Pitt is another one that sticks around, and then you still have Stanford, Cal, and SMU? I mean, that's 8 schools right there. That's according to the NCAA, that is a legitimate conference. Add a couple more schools, see what happens. But that's the stark difference. All right, not everybody's on the same page. Not everybody feels like they're in the same boat. A lot of your teams feel like, hey, there are options out here. Maybe it ain't the Big Ten. Maybe it's not the SEC. But there is a third option that makes it a lot easier. Just go over there than to deal with the bullshit that's going on here. So it comes back to that first difference, doesn't it? That there's another power conference making good money, not top money, but good money. And that is a solid conference and it can offer stability, and you don't have to worry about making less money. Now, I know there's still a lot of people who don't want to believe this. Oh, no. We'll just, okay. Numbskull News has warned you about what's going on. Any team in the ACC that does not receive an invite from the Big Ten or the SEC, you better pick up the phone. You better start building a relationship with Brett Yormark. That is going to be your best road from here on in. I'm not saying the ACC will tank and fade away like the Pac did. It may very well not. They may be smart enough to negotiate something where they can rebuild it. But even that rebuilt something still isn't going to be on the same level of the Big 12. That is some pipe dream, wishful thinking BS that I see over and over again in my comments. That the ACC will still, even losing those top brands, even losing UNC and Miami, will still command the same kind of money that the Big 12 is getting. That was the thinking of Pac-12 people. And what happened. Reality happened. The market showed you what it's worth. And what's going on with the ACC? What's going on with the market? It's still down, folks. Still down. ESPN has saved an ass ton of money, essentially sinking the Pac 12 and still getting plenty of content. They can do the same thing with the ACC, but even better. You can get some bigger brands possibly into the Big 12 for less money. You can get some of the mid-tier brands into the Big 12 and not be spending too much damn money. You can even have the rest of the teams solidify, and ESPN could come in, offer them somewhere between $15 and $18 million a school until 2036. Maybe a few escalators, a few raises along the way. And if they can get that knocked out, they got all the content that they'll ever need and save money along the way. It makes financial sense. It makes financial sense for Fox to be on board with that. To make the Big 12 basketball league even better, that's why they are involved with the Big 12, is basketball. There are stark differences between what happened to the two. Between what happened to the Big 12, what's happening to the ACC, and what's going to happen to the ACC. Everything's different. So many things are different. And folks just don't want to see it. They want to put their blinders on and just keep on going. Well, I don't care about blinders. I'll knock that crap off your head, and I'm going to give you the straight up truth about what's going on. All right, it's not like I have any sources, but I do look around quite a bit at the business environment, the business sports environment, what is being talked about with ESPN, with Fox behind the scenes, business-wise. And everything rolls out to there's not going to be a lot more expansion by the SEC or the Big Ten. Not a ton. Not much at all. No one's going north of 20 teams. Not in those two conferences. Matter of fact, the SEC will add 2 more and they'll shut off the spigot. That is it. It makes only business, financial, logical sense for them to do so. End of the day, it's a different beast. I'm sorry. Your circumstances aren't the same as the Big 12. Therefore, the outcome won't be the same. Anyway, thanks for watching this crap, and I'll be back with some more crap later. Bye.